Today we are going to review the Hori Fighting Stick Alpha for the PS5. This stick clocks in around that $200 price point and is one of the very few fight stick offerings for the PS5. After the unboxing, my first impression was that this stick was about the same length and height of most fight sticks, but a bit wider. For some context, you can see how it compares to a very lightweight micro and then a custom build of comparable size. I saw some others label this stick overly hefty, but I didn't really feel that was the case. If anything, the plastic enclosure felt much lighter than I thought it would be based on the stick's other dimensions. This is a Hori unit, so of course they are going to use Hori parts. The components are entry level, albeit quality. Even the hardest masher should be able to get some good mileage out of the lever and buttons. The lever has a square gate, which is also pretty standard. So much about components is personal preference, but I've always thought that the Hori lever felt a bit sloppier than a Sanwa JLF. Still very comparable though. The buttons are their matte black offerings. They don't pick up fingerprints easily, which is good, but if you've seen my button comparison video, then you'll see that the actuation force needed for a press is very light. So depending on your character or your game, that may be either a pro or a con. The aux buttons are located at the top of the stick. PS, share, function, touchpad, L3 and R3. The function button allows you to customize button profiles. You'll need to download the Hori device manager from the Hori website, plug in the stick and remap buttons to what you would like. I played with this a bit, but the default profile worked fine on the games I tested on. Up near the touchpad is the PS5, PS4, PC switch to toggle between the systems. Above it is a tournament lockout switch, so you won't get DQ'd for accidentally pausing around. It's probably not very necessary for most players, but I think it's a nice inclusion. There is a sliding latch at the top you will need to use to open up this clamshell design. It folds open very easily and you can get access to your parts and wiring. They have button removal instructions printed there if you need it, as well as coded cable layouts. Part of me was hoping for braided or sleeved cabling instead of just the standard, but you typically don't see that unless it's a higher end build or something at a bit higher price point. When you unspool the USB-A cable, you lay it through the center opening and can close the stick back up. The cable is fairly close to the wiring, so you will need to take care not to bump your button terminals and wrap it back up nicely at the end of the night. It does store nicely with the cable tucked away inside. It also has a few inches of rubber mats along the left and right edges. This may help for table play, but I wish it had extended further to better serve lap play. It comes with some integrated recessed handles to help you carry it to and from your locals. The button layout isn't a typical Vuelix, and instead it has a noir, or at least noir-inspired layout, which I find to be a huge positive. This comes with a 3.5mm headphone jack on the left side if you want to party up with your friends online. I've seen a lot of praise for how easily the art changes, and it does open up quickly enough, but you're still going to need to remove your ball top and your buttons and such, so it still feels pretty much the same as any other build with a plexi cover. I tested most of this on the PC. but when I took it over to the PS5, it behaved normally and everything worked as it should. I played for a while to get a true feel for the stick. Even though Hori aren't my favorite components, both the buttons and the lever felt fine. Everything was very responsive. There was also plenty of space for my wrist, and the beveled angle seemed to work well. Overall, it's a solid offering from Hori, and I'm glad to see some native PS5 sticks coming along. The clamshell opening feature seems handy for easy part swaps. The stick had good ergonomics with the button layout and ample wrist space, but the weight still felt a bit off to me. I also probably won't make much use of the headphone jack or the button profile mapping feature, but they are nice inclusions all the same. For $200, I would have liked to see some more metal in the construction, similar to their previous Fighting Edge. I'm going to rate this 3.5 ball tops out of 5, but there's an asterisk. If you like Hori components or you don't have a frame of reference or a clear part preference, then we can go ahead and round this up to a 4 out of 5 score. It does get a lot right. Anyway, if you liked this video or found it helpful, please consider subscribing to help grow this channel so I can do more reviews like this. Thanks for watching, support your locals, and I'll see you next time.